Guess we are back after our epic fail.
Okay, let's just, you check this, I check Twitch.
You're still saying.
Can you go into channel? Like
Wait,
before?
let me just. Okay,
Yay.
that works.
Okay, learned something.
So I will check YouTube, you will check
Oh,
Twitch.
damn it, oh no, on Twitch I didn't delete the previous run. Okay. Twitch worked for me.
Okay, so you check the chat of Twitch, I will check here the stream of.
Okay.
Okay. So finally we are here.
Hi.
We changed again how you can see the setup a little bit.
Back in the living room.
Yeah, we're trying different stuff. We still didn't find our perfect solution, but maybe this is the one. It's a lot more simple to do it.
Yes.
And so, yeah, we are recording with Chris' iPhone.
Yeah.
So let's see how it goes. And yes.
You should actually be able to see yourself right now. So that's how it works right now.
I don't understand what you're...
Camera. You will see it here in a
Oh,
second.
okay. Okay, now.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, so...
No. Okay, that should be for the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we have a few topics for today.
Yes.
We will talk about, where is my list? About the resume of the game events of the last week. There have been some...
From the last 2 weeks,
Two weeks,
yeah, there was the Sony event with
Yeah.
the PS5 finally, the PC gaming show that was, and the EA Play that was, wow, yeah.
Okay, and then we'll come back to that in a minute.
Yeah.
Then what we've learned from home office during lockdown. Also, I think a very interesting topic actually. And we will talk a bit about Apple's WWDC that will be tomorrow, and about the speculations of them going and shifting to ARM instead of Intel on Mac.
And we will also stream that tomorrow at 7 p.m. So there will be not the gaming stream. Maybe we shift that, but we will stream the
definitely
this keynote of Apple.
And at the end, we will also talk a little bit about our tips of the days that we're currently posting on our website. Mostly tech and motivational tips. So everything that you will need for a digital lifestyle.
That's right.
Okay.
So we can start, and we will start with the sum up of the game shows. And so also
someone said that we're hot. But I reloaded the page, damn it.
what? That we are hot?
Yeah.
Oh, we missed the comment?
No, it's not. I mean, we didn't really miss it. It was more like someone said hello. Continue.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. So I will just take my notes. Also, that was I don't remember actually the date, 13 June, yes? That was presented, no, that 13 June was the PC Gaming Show. I don't remember actually the date, but yes, 2 weeks ago it was presented the PS5 finally. Sony did, on my opinion, a great show, presenting games, and at the end also the console. And the really cool stuff that I liked a lot was presenting 2 type of consoles, the one with the Blu-ray disc and one without any Blu-ray disc. And I love this because it will lower the price of the digital edition, how it's called, the one without the optical disc. And there are a lot of users that don't buy any more physical copies. They just go on the PlayStation Network and buy their games because it's faster and you can have your game instantly. And there is also then some promotions often. So for a lot of users this makes a lot of sense. So you can get a PS5 at a lower price and without something that you don't need.
Yeah, and I really like that approach.
Yes.
And I just thought about it today, and I will probably get the digital edition because if I'm really playing a lot, or one console a lot, like my Nintendo Switch right now, I do all the stuff digital.
Yes, also.
And that's how I noticed, and I really like that it's so sleek.
Yeah, also on a perspective, no, how can I say, beauty way,
Yeah.
the digital edition is really nice,
Yeah.
more than the other version. Me personally, I will go with the standard one. I'm a little bit old-fashioned. I like to have the discs, so can buy them, have my collection of PS4 games, PS5 games. So, but I know that a lot of users are going to buy the digital one.
Yeah.
And we also made an article on DIGITLZ.com that goes a little bit more in focus of that, what we think about with how the market is going. So feel free to go on the blog and read that article.
Yes. Please do it.
So yes, there were some games presented. My favorite was Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. I'm a Ratchet & Clank fan, and there was a lot of gameplay, so we had actually the chance to see how the PS5 runs. It was a lot of action, a lot of details. It was really nice. Then there was also some other games like Gran Turismo 7, the new Spider-Man, the new Resident Evil, new Hitman,
GTA 5.
Yeah. I mean, when it came to logo of Rockstars, I was so hyped. It's really GTA 6?
Nope.
That's GTA 5, and it was, come on, yeah. Okay. Also today I read there is Amazon friends posted that you can buy the PS5, and there was the price and the release date. Then they removed it quite fast, but it was also actually I have a picture. Can I send it to you somehow?
But how?
Oh yeah, sorry.
With our current setup, we can not show you anything.
I forgot about that. But
I can show the iPad into the camera.
No, let's just on Amazon you can select the version of a console of a product, and the price is different. And it was selected as the standard one, and the price was of $499. And that would mean that the digital one would be cost less than that, maybe $400 or $399. That would be a huge price.
I mean, they will set all that they can for the people to buy the digital edition. I think that's my opinion why they make it so sleek looking.
Yeah.
That's why they make it cheaper.
Yes.
So of course you save the money, but they get way more money if you buy the games there at the PlayStation stores, because they decide the price.
Yep. Yes.
I mean, I don't know. For example, I usually when I buy a game, I go to MMOGA.
For me it's Instant Game.
Yeah, and I usually buy the codes there, and they are cheaper. I got Animal Crossing. It was for €60 on the Nintendo store, and I got it for 35.
Yeah. Also for PC, I always buy on these stores.
Yeah.
On consoles, I'm still like to have my collection of games. So yeah. And if I want, I mean, the great stuff of the physical copy, you can share it with friends or sell it. That's something that you cannot do with a digital copy. But yes, also we were really happy with the Sony event.
Was I happy as well?
I mean,
you said we.
I guess so, because it was really great, and you are really happy about USB-C.
Totally. But I will kick their ass if they deliver it with a USB-A to USB-C cable to charge your controller, because it still has USB-A in the front. I want a USB-C to USB-C cable.
It's USB-C to USB-C.
Yeah, you don't know.
I'm quite sure. I'm quite sure of that. Okay, so then we can talk a bit of the PC gaming show. We watched that together, and we made also live stream on YouTube.
Yeah.
And also, the first thing, they tried a lot to be funny, and that was really cringe. I don't like that. I mean, it's a gaming show. Just show us the game and stop doing bullshit.
Yeah.
But yes,
that was really weird. And beyond that, I think the game selection was okay.
Yes, also I mean there were some games that I enjoyed.
But it was a super long event, and
it was
a couple of games that you enjoyed.
Yes.
I only think I liked two of those, like the Wild West game.
Okay.
And Persona coming to PC, and beyond that.
Also, my favorite one was Persona 4. That's
course.
finally on PC. Mortal Shell, it's a Souls-like. It had a really great atmosphere and it was really slow. I'm really curious to see how the gameplay is. And then of course Mafia Definitive Edition. I never played Mafia, but it always wanted to play it, and yeah, in August I think I will buy it so I can play it. And also it was really great to see Elite Dangerous Odyssey. It should be a first person shooter then, or you can actually go on the planets to see that. So I'm really hyped to see how it works. I hope it's well integrated. Yeah, should be really fun. Then there was also other games like the Outlast Trials, the new game from the Outlast series. I'm not a fan, but there is a lot of people that like that.
I thought actually to buy it once.
Yeah.
And now I have to think again.
Yeah. Then there was also New World of Amazon, that should be an MMORPG. Godfall, that I don't know. Godfall, I find it quite good. I want to see and feel the gameplay at first. A lot of people say that's something that's not so good. Let's see, but it's something that to keep in eye. Icarus, it's that one survival where you are at the space. So there were a lot of survivals.
And a lot of space games.
Yeah.
A lot of space games.
Icarus, I don't know. I don't have actually a good feeling about that game, but it's a survival.
It was like Minecraft in space, right?
Yeah, but it was actually a survival.
Yeah.
A little bit different. Let's see. Just to keep an eye on it and see if it's something that could be worth to play.
Yeah.
And yeah, then Surgeon Simulator 2. That was.
Yeah, that was really strange.
Yeah.
But we should try it.
It could be fun to play, but I didn't need to have a second version of that game. But yeah. So nothing so really exciting. It was
okay.
Okay.
For 2.5 hours.
A bit long, but yeah.
Long.
Then
your favorite? EA Play.
Yes, then EA Play.
I didn't watch that one.
No, it was not. It was a good decision to don't watch that. It was on 1 p.m. to 2 p.m.
European time.
Yes.
Okay, wow, that's weird times.
No, AM. Sorry, that was AM.
Wow.
Sorry, that was at night. Yeah.
That's really late. Okay.
Yes, that was late, but that was Star Wars Squadron, and I'm a Star Wars fan, so I really wanted to see that.
Yeah.
And yes, I was a little bit enttäuscht. Disappointed, because the gameplay didn't feel so cool. Also, it's a 5 versus 5 multiplayer game where each one has his ship, and yeah, you have to fight against. Let's see, maybe the gameplay is better, but yeah, a little bit. There should be also his single player mode, but it's more a big tutorial before you go on multiplayer. That's what I liked. They said that it can go really complicated, that you can do really great stuff and complicated stuff, and you have to be really be skilled. But they didn't show anything of that, so let's see.
Shit.
Yeah, don't die. Then another game that I liked, It Takes Two. I don't know if you ever played Brothers or A Way Out. It was I played Brothers. You can play two characters at the same time with the pad.
Sounds difficult.
It's not that difficult. It's made very well.
But I heard of those kind of games.
And it's just a history of these two brothers that have to find something.
Really?
I don't remember.
Essentially, it's also a multiplayer if you just share it like this.
Yeah, you can play it also with friends, I guess. And the story was really good. I really enjoyed playing that game. And then they made a similar game, but A Way Out. I don't remember the plot, but the magazines really liked them, and he got really good response. So I will play it in the future. So I think they will do a great game, and It Takes Two really seemed really nice. So yeah, and what's ARM? Okay, yeah.
Oh, I totally didn't see that question.
Yeah.
Damn it. Oops.
What?
Can we see if he's still is in the chat. Yeah, no.
Yeah, what's ARM?
What's ARM? Yeah. Apple's move to ARM could also be a city.
So, just to finish the EA plate and we go to the next topic. What they talked more about, it was a lot of games go on Steam. And that some games go on Switch. That was 1 hour of stream was mostly about that. And that, what was Apex has crossplay. Also that was actually good. But yeah, I mean just 1 hour just to say a lot of games are on Steam now and Apex has a crossplay now and it goes also on Switch. I mean.
Yeah, I heard about. That's the only news I heard from there. Also, I have the Twitch chat here.
Okay.
So I have both at the same time now.
Yeah.
That's what I've noticed from the EPA play, and what I think is kind of cool, but
you don't need a 1 hour stream just like that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's just porting it on the Switch, like they did with
a lot of other games.
Yeah.
So.
And it will take until fall till it releases.
I don't remember, but yeah, it could be.
Yeah. So yeah, about that. So, should we go to the next topic? Okay. Our next topic will be hard home office life in lockdown and our experiences from that.
Yes. Also, we both work on the same company. I'm a backend developer. He's a front-end developer.
We hate each other.
Go backend.
Go JavaScript.
Wow. TypeScript. I can understand TypeScript, but not JavaScript.
Yeah, but the topic is home office now.
Yeah. and so from the 14th March, or a little bit later,
mid-March to mid-June now, kind of.
Yeah, we started to do home office. What was your experience the first 2 weeks?
I want to go back to the office. No, for me it was a bit difficult because I moved into my new flat 1st of March, and then 2 weeks later I had to stay in my new apartment, and my living room had nothing, like seriously nothing. And so my whole day I just spent it in my bedroom. I slept there, I worked there. At least I have my balcony here. But yeah,
I mean,
for me
that's the same what I do, because I have one room where I sleep and where is my living room and where is my workstation. So,
but I like working because I work at this company that I like to work at.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Then staying at home the whole time, every day, it's really not so motivating.
But did it go better, or did you feel the same the whole 3 months?
I think it got worse after 1 month.
Okay.
1 or 2 months. I felt that like people get, also me, getting angrier quicker about minor issues.
Okay.
Like in development or in the project,
Okay.
And I noticed I try to optimize as much as possible in the lockdown phase to introduce coffee breaks with colleagues, that there is a bit
also a bit that later.
So there is a bit more interaction, but at the end I think that's the issue actually with the isolation. People were talking about social distancing,
yes,
but we should not do social distancing, we should do physical distancing. And that's the issue about this whole phase.
That's true.
Because when you social distance, I mean, the human is not made to be social distanced. If you're alone at home for weeks, that's not very good for your health, psychic health.
Sorry, I just have to write a note, so yeah.
It's okay. And that's why I'm thinking it's important to improve on sociability, like we tried with the checkbox.
Secret notes.
Okay, yeah. And
yes,
yeah, so
that's true.
It was okay, but for me 2 months was the maximum.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to work because I'm close to work.
And you also have a car, so
I have a car, yeah, and there are also not so many people at work.
No, I mean there was
And
just you.
for me,
maximum.
it was really getting to see more than just my own four walls.
Yeah. No, for me, it was the opposite. I started the first day. It was perfect because I like actually doing home office.
The first day, yeah.
Yeah,
so
then
important.
the first week actually, besides the first day, it was really strange because I wasn't so engaged, or I wasn't so how can I say
Engaged too.
yes,
or
it was
motivated
more
or-
difficult to get concentrated.
Mhm.
It was easier for me to lose focus. But it was just the first day because just the first week. Maybe I was a little bit more bored because when you're at office, actually, as it really depends on what you're working at the time. But when you're at the office, you talk a bit with your colleagues,
Yes.
you share experience, you say, I'm working on that, have you idea how can I fix that problem? So you have a communication. When you're at home, it's more difficult. You can do it with a colleague if you're working on the same project, or if you're really stuck, okay, that's fine. But usually you do it if you're working on the same project. If you're working on different projects, it's more complicated to just share this experience because you don't call your colleagues. So
and
the
even just calling is, I mean, not everyone turns on the camera, and then it's also, you really miss
yes.
like a real communication.
And so the first week was complicated, but after that I get used to it. So I had my own schedule and I started to like it, and I still like it. I mean, I still like to go to the office, but I really like to stay at home and work at home because I have my own time. And this is one of the pros that I was to talk about. You can manage time. I could easily start at 7 a.m. or also earlier.
Yes.
Stop at 3, make 1 hour, 2 hours of rest, and then work a bit again on 6 p.m. or later. That was easier for me because often it happens that at 4 p.m. or 3 p.m. you get tired or you cannot focus anymore. So you can stop, make a nap or sleep or play some games or do something.
Yes.
And then when you're again focused, you can go back to work. If you're in an office, it's really more complicated. So you can bring your PC at home and then work, but it's not the same. And yeah, another thing that we both like, we talk about that, is napping. After you eat,
Yeah.
often you're really tired because or you didn't sleep so well or you eat too much. So 20 minutes nap helps a lot.
Yeah. When I'm in the office, I usually do that in the meeting room, but when the meeting room is full, no
Yeah.
power nap for me for that day.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
actually it's called power nap because
Yeah.
20 minutes of sleep, it gives you real power to.
But you should really not, I think I rather like it like 15 minutes,
Mhm.
because if you really do it too long, you get in the too much resting
Yeah,
phase.
yeah.
It's-
Oh, for me 20 minutes
Uh,
is perfect because I need more time to
Yeah.
fall asleep a little bit. So 20 minutes is the
For me, it's when I'm really done. Give me 5 minutes and I come in a very low state. And then after 10 minutes, my phone rings
Mhm.
to remind me, so I'm not sleeping
Yeah.
too much. And then I more usually extend it for a few minutes.
Okay.
But yeah, at home, wow, it's you can really relax much better
Yes, that's true.
because you have so much. You usually have a couch or you have a bed, and you can take use of that. But
Yes.
at work, when you don't have that opportunity,
Yes. Then the cons. How can I say it?
the cons.
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 Okay. Yeah, you can get bored because you don't talk with anyone actually.
Yeah,
So we get to that, and there is no actually social aspect. So you can just make some calls, and that's great. But you miss actually seeing people, talking about people. Yeah, you're going to miss that.
Mhm.
So for that counts, we talked about that in the office mostly, Chris, and came up with some ideas. He introduced the coffee break. So after lunch, a lot of people. I didn't do it.
yeah,
But
it worked
yeah,
it worked for the first 2 weeks. It worked.
Okay.
Usually there were 2 to 5 people in.
But
the
also
coffee
after
break.
that, there was
And-
some people.
Yeah, it went like it, but then after like 3 or 4 weeks, less and less people came to
Yeah.
because it was like a daily routine, like daily event.
Yeah. But that actually helped. I mean,
it helped a little bit, definitely.
Because you see people, you talk about other stuff, not always about work, and you just drink a coffee and talk about stuff. 20 minutes, something like that. It's like a virtual eating room or coffee break room.
I'm really happy that it worked at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Like without it, I would only like the home office time for 1 month. With it, I liked it for
2
1.5 months or 2 months. Yeah.
So and then other colleagues that smokes, they have done like calls when they have said, okay, we can do a call at this time, and they have made a Facebook, I guess it was Facebook
chat,
group, and they with FaceTime. So FaceTime is from Apple, but they actually have done video calls, so they were smoking and chatting at the same time. So it was like a virtual smoke room, and that helped them a lot because you keep in touch with people and you see the faces of the people, and that's really great. And then we are going to talk just about a little bit of the tools that we used. Personally, I used Barrier, and it's a great tool if you want to use more screens and you have a left.
It sounds more limiting, like
but it's break the barrier, I guess, something like that. Because our company gives us MacBook Pro, and at home I have my Windows machine with my 3 monitors. So what I did, I used Barrier and I connected my MacBook onto 2 screens, onto two of my screens, and the other screens was connected to my Windows machine, and I could use my keyboard and mouse of my Windows machine connected to my Windows machine over the Mac. So I didn't have to change anything. The only thing that I had to do is sometimes to disconnect the display from the Windows machine, and that's it, because otherwise the mouse would work. Strange, but yes.
So it's just inter-OS communication.
Yes, it's
for the
over
mouse
Wi-Fi,
keyboard.
and it went really great. Sometimes, it has its problems. It's a free version, actually, that you can find it on GitHub and use it. There's also a more powerful version that should have a pro or less problems. But you have to pay for it. So if you want to use a free version, it works fine. I use it for 3 months without any real problems, and that helps actually a lot, because I just have to disconnect the MacBook and I can go to work, or that's it.
Really cool.
And I came back home, connect the MacBook, and that's it, without any changing the keyboard or mouse configuration, anything of that. And I really like that. And another tool that I think a lot of companies use, it's Slack.
Who's using it?
I mean, we used it on
Microsoft Teams and Slack are like most used chat apps.
Yes.
I think so many companies use those.
Yes.
Really cool.
But the cool, I never use Microsoft Teams, but the cool part of Slack is that you can draw on the screen of the other person. So when you have some meeting and some person is sharing his screen, it's really more easy to say, but look at this, and you can with the mouse draw something there, and that helps a lot, because
that's a big aspect.
You have a lot of more communication, and it's got easier to make these calls. Then you also have video calls that you can see actually the persons, but that was a really great aspect, that you can draw on the other person's desktop, because it doesn't work on Linux.
It doesn't work on Linux?
No. I did one with a colleague that used used Linux, and it wasn't working. So if you have Windows or iOS, macOS works fine. Otherwise,
macOS?
iOS, macOS.
No, macOS.
macOS. Okay.
You pronounce it so funny.
macOS. So it was really, really, really great, and it helped a lot us to work together. And also, I mean, you don't have to get. I also, when I was working on the same project with other colleagues, called them just if you have a question or something, because if you're in the same office, often you you make questions, or you talk about just to get suggestions. So also if you are working on home office, it's the same thing. Just ask if ask him, can I call you? And that's it. You don't have to be afraid or to waste time, because that would help you to deliver better code, because you have talked with colleagues and often they have some great ideas and then you can improve your code. So that's really important, and in home office you don't have to miss that. That's really an important aspect. You always have to communicate with your colleagues and also make calls just for simple suggestions, or to say, what do you think about this piece of code? And because you do that on the office and you still have to do it while you're working on home office, that's really important.
That's right.
So
just to I wanted just a quick resume also from my side. I think the level of difficulty really depends on how digital your company was already at the time of lockdown.
That's
companies who not really invested in file sharing or programs like Slack, I think they had a really hard time at the start, because they probably used WhatsApp for communications. They had no file transfer and used probably something like WeTransfer. And I hope most development companies already use a repository, but then also, is your VPN correctly set up? We are really lucky with where we work at, because that was already completely set up. Everything worked already, because we already were kind of used to work from home from time to time. So the shift was really from this to next day to the next day. Most people stayed at home, and it almost worked instantly.
Yes, also for most people. Yes, when I was the first time there, I had to prepare everything. So I already had to use the VPN, to test the VPN, install all the softwares, so that I was able to do home office without any problems. And so that helped a lot. That's important that a company is keep looking at that, and that helped a lot to.
Infrastructure is really important when it comes to home office. Yeah. Okay, I think we should end this topic there. We end the stream now. No. So, okay, you check the Twitch stream, then I will open my notes here.
Yes. Okay.
So yeah, next topic will be Apple. So it was like 1.5 weeks ago. Let me just check when Bloomberg tweeted that tweet. On June 9th. Wow, that's almost 2 weeks ago. They tweeted about that Apple may announce the shift of its main processors for Mac computers to ARM instead of using Intel. And that was quite a big announcement. I mean, they had some how did they say, they had contact persons that were familiar with those workings at Apple. So that's where they got those information. And I think it's sometimes I'm thinking like those leaks always appear just before the keynote.
Yes.
So is it marketing? Because those informations that they could shift to ARM have already been proposed years ago.
Yes, and they were really big news. I mean, that's not something like Intel or AMD. No.
It's really like ARM. It's a completely different architecture. I talked to Fabio already about it several times. It makes totally sense for Apple to shift to ARM. Their own processors are way more powerful, my perspective, way more efficient, and I mean, Apple is a hardware producer. They produce their own hardware, and a lot of it, and now using their own chips also for Mac, I think that's a big step towards unifying the whole ecosystem even more, because you also make it easier for developers, of course, because you have kind of the same code base and minor differences between Mac, iPad and iPhone
you
and
make
Watch.
It easier for Apple developers.
Yes, of course.
Because if Apple is on ARM and the other ones still on x64 or x86, where developers are Yeah, I don't say, but it will be really complicated sometimes when you develop on desktop or some kind of heavy programs.
Yes, I mean they prepared the developers already since 2 years. There was the project Marzipan,
Okay.
where developers could start. They were able to develop iPad. They were able to port iPad apps to Mac in 2019 at last year's WWDC 2019. But they announced the project Marzipan in 2018.
Okay.
And they already started to implement iPad apps into macOS, like the calculator, the stocks app, and
Yes.
some other app. And that's where one article of shapeoff.com already started to talk about, is this a sign of Apple moving to ARM? This is 2 years ago, the article. So it was already predicted years ago. Really
Yes,
cool
also,
article.
It's a topic that is going on since different years.
Yeah.
That the next architecture will be the future of the CPU architecture will be ARM.
For all or for Apple, you mean that?
I think for all. Apple maybe will be the first one that does that big move, but yeah, I mean, if Apple does that,
But
probably other, because the fact is, on macOS there are a lot of softwares that work right now with the current CPU architecture. Like a lot of users use Adobe on macOS, and Adobe works on the current architecture x64.
Yes.
So what happens? Adobe has to improve and optimize their products for ARM then.
But they already started with that.
Yes, because they have a strong relationship with
Yes.
Apple. But then what happens? A lot of developers or companies that have a strong base on macOS have to make this move from x64 to ARM, and that could be a problem. It would be so easy.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking Apple will do this at the beginning for mostly consumers.
Yes.
I'm thinking, and I also read an article about that they will make a new MacBook.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, but there's also the MacBook with nothing after the name. The very sleek MacBook. I really love that device. I had one for a while. And I think they will revamp that MacBook with the
that would be
with the Apple chips then. And that would be really cool, because the main problem of that little MacBook was it was so weak.
Yes.
It was
and
so
with
weak
ARM,
because it had passive cooling, and Intel's chips were not so. I mean, they were efficient, yes,
not
but
so
also not powerful.
Yeah, you cannot compare.
They were x86 cores, so not. Atom is. They were Intel Core cores and not Intel Atom cores. No, Intel Atom is way weaker.
Yeah, I mean,
And I mean the Intel Core M's are Intel Core processors.
Yes.
So it was, if you use the MacBook for simple tasks, it's okay. But try editing a 4K video on it. That's a problem. Now try editing a 4K video on your iPhone, like this, where we use an iPhone for streaming right now. It's so powerful. 4K editing on this one, no problem.
Yes, we had problems with his MacBook Pro
to stream 1080p. Yeah, and this is like no problem. I mean, probably this uses a better engine right now. So what I wanted to talk about, they will use. I hope they use an A chip for that MacBook, and it will be for consumer level, and that would be okay.
Yes,
because
in that case, yes.
Apple has already a huge base of apps in their app stores, and if they will now allow developers to port their apps from iPhones, iPads even easier now to Mac, and now you also have a Mac with an ARM chip, you can do way more powerful things. If they make a new A14 chip or something like that and put it into a MacBook, that's a powerful thing.
Yes, also we could maybe once do a video where we go deep in the technical stuff about
Yes.
ARM, because
Yes.
for a lot of people, I mean, what's the difference? It's always a CPU, ARM or x86 or x64, but it's huge different what's
Yes.
behind. And
You cannot just run your x86 app on an ARM.
No.
There are emulators, but they
yeah,
are really weak.
I will just do a simple explanation. Is that
Mhm.
to have different ISA, that's the okay, I don't remember now the definition.
Say
but
it.
it's actually the instruction code. Okay, each CPU has its instruction code, and from ARM are more simpler. So one instruction code per cycle can do just one thing. That from the other architecture, so x64, it's more complicated. They have more complicated instructions. With more complicated instruction for compilers, it's more easy to translate them to assembler, if I remember well, and assembler. For ARM, it's more complicated because the code will be a lot of bigger, because you have to create more instructions. So there are some complications than actually at the compile time. So it's not just I can use the same code. I mean, it's not often just the same code. It's more what's behind the code. So yeah, it's like how it's like if you are developing on different platforms. So it's not just that it's a different CPU.
Yeah.
No, it's a different architecture of the CPU.
But that's why Apple started with Marzipan and then called Catalyst to allow developers to port their iPad apps to Mac. And I don't know, I don't remember how the kit was called, but the Mac was then also able to run the same code base.
Yeah. But wasn't it using an emulator inside?
I don't know how they do it. I think you have compiled it for each version.
Okay.
I don't know how Apple is doing that. But it made development easier.
Yep.
You know, because Apple in their Xcode development IDE, with the IDE that they offer, they implemented it that you could use or port your iPad app to Mac. And I mean, it's when we're talking about performance, I mean, I have a little example here from, if you take the multi-core performance from an A7 chip in the iPhone 5S and compare it now with the A12X chip in the iPad Pro, the current one, it's 10 times faster.
Yep.
And that's just within 5 years, from 2013 to 2018. And the, also another cool fact is the A13 chip from the iPhone 11 and 11 Pro and iPhone SE
Yes.
has in the Geekbench 5 benchmark, it has a faster single core score than the fastest Mac.
Okay.
So from the whole Apple lineup.
Yeah.
So even if you talk about the Mac Pro, you with an iPhone SE you will get a higher single core score in that benchmark.
Also, there are different environments. And
I know, but for me, it's just
huge.
seeing that a phone in a synthetic benchmark that performs the same calculations is faster than the whole lineup. I mean, that's huge. And multi-core performance is also very good in all iPad Pros right now. I think the limit there will be cooling. But seeing in somewhere in the future a cooled ARM chip from Apple, that could be a really powerful thing. I mean, of course, Apple does the hardware, Apple does the software. That's such a huge point there. That's why they are able to make it so efficient.
Yes. Also, let's see. I don't think that Apple will change each computer or each stuff.
Why did someone make a thumbs down on YouTube? Seriously? Thank you very much. We're just trying.
And because it's way too difficult to just move to ARM for the software problems that we told before, but it will go in this direction. So in the time, Apple will always try to get more ARM in his components. Windows, Microsoft already tried that. With, but it was almost a failed Surface X Pro X. because there are a lot of problems with Adobe. We had a user that was chatting with us, and he had.
But you can knock it off because it's just an emulator, and
yes, but it's starting to get. Microsoft tried something with ARM. Apple is now, we will see tomorrow, trying to do something with the computers.
But the difference is Apple is preparing the developers now for years to develop iPad, iPhone, Mac apps. And now when they do the shift to ARM, it won't hurt the community so much like in Microsoft's community.
Yeah, but it's different. There are different communities. The Apple community, it won't afflict just the affect the Apple developers.
Yes.
But so if there is someone that just develops apps for iOS or macOS, that's not a problem. Okay, but there are the developers that work on Android and Apple. That's something more difficult.
Yeah.
Or there are software developers for Linux, Microsoft and Apple. They cannot have the same. I mean, that's a lot of different code bases. These problems then. So we will see how this goes. It will take time.
Yeah.
For Apple, it's not a problem because they have the huge ecosystem and huge Apple developers that. But for cross platforms, I think it will take more time.
Yeah, we'll see tomorrow. Yeah, we know if they really will do that move.
I hope so.
I hope really so too. That would be really interesting. I already dreamed of that for like 2 years almost.
Then there is also, just to say, the problems with game developers.
But what do you mean by problem?
Yeah.
So it won't be a problem for there are like games on iPhone, iPad.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
And there's also Apple Arcade.
Okay.
And Apple is making its own gaming niche right now that works only on their devices, and that will have no problem.
That's not.
But for other,
I'm more talking about desktop. Users. Already there are few games that work on macOS. If they move to ARM, there will be no games, probably no games at all.
Yes, but that's probably okay for Apple users right now because they get a pretty good selection right now in the App Store, and those games actually, I mean, we're talking about indie games.
No, I mean
we're never talking about.
No, also two games. I mean, The Sims.
What?
The Sims.
The Sims.
The Sims.
Yeah.
That's a huge game, and I think there are
we can forget that.
Yeah.
Just forget that.
I mean,
also, another thing is Boot Camp, like Windows on Mac. Boot Camp.
Oh, yeah.
I guess you can forget that as well.
There are a lot of users that actually play The Sims on macOS because The Sims it's played from everyone.
But that's why I'm saying they will. I bet. I mean, how much sense does it make to have a bet the day before the announcement? I bet they will start with the consumer niche.
Yes.
And because they just introduced so many good MacBook Pros and
I hope so.
Mac Pros.
The fact is, just I see a mom that plays The Sims and they get the new MacBook and they don't know that's ARM actually, but they know The Sims works on Mac.
Yeah.
And then try to install it and they what happened? I used to play it and now on this PC not. Why? So
they should get a little pop-up like welcome to the future. Your game doesn't work anymore.
So there are these problems, but let's see how what the future holds.
We will see tomorrow 7 p.m. our next stream.
It's a huge it's actually a huge topic, and we get more in focus of that because I like that, he likes that, and we will definitely make sometimes a very deep focus on ARM about a little bit everything.
I already made an article on our website where you can read about what it means for Apple to shift to ARM. So you should read that if you're more interested into that.
Yes.
So next topic, last topic.
Yes.
Topic. We got started like 2 weeks ago, where we started to write tip of the days. Tips of the day. No, a tip of the day every day in the working week.
Yeah. So
when we tried
Monday from Friday.
Yeah. And we started with a few topics that should be interesting, and we just wanted to tell you a little bit about that. A few topics. Usually our tips of the days will be kind of in the direction of techie and motivational. I mean, DIGITLZ, what is DIGITLZ? DIGITLZ is supposed to be a magazine about the digital lifestyle in the 21st century. So we're talking about all kinds of topics there. And for me, it's really important to tell you how great USB-C is, or how you can motivate yourself to reach your goal, especially in the current times. And so that's the intention also of the tip of the day. Usually it's just a little tip, just telling you, hey, did you try a LAN connection on your Nintendo Switch yet? Because you really should. It's making a huge impact. That kind of tips. Usually from Monday to Friday you will find a new tip on the website. It will appear there sometime on the day. If you don't see a new tip, that's because I'm in stress probably. or I have other things to do.
Yeah,
we have other things to do.
For the moment we're quite flexible. He mostly writes articles. I write one article last week about PS4. So I hope also, I mean, we are giving a focus on that. We will improve on that.
Definitely.
And so it's quite flexible at that moment. And
flexible.
Flexible. I mean,
flexible. We're quite flexible.
What I mean, I don't know if it's the English correct word, but what I mean is that we don't have strict hours, so you can find the tip of the day at 8 a.m. or 8 p.m.
Yes.
So
about that. Now, one article, for example, that I wrote is why you should get a good USB-C charger, because USB-C is getting just more and more popular. You have USB-C on phones, on
PS5,
laptops, on PS5, but you won't charge it with USB-C. But the PS5 controllers now will have USB-C. You will see it everywhere, and I think it's really good time right now to shift to USB-C.
I mean, it's 2020.
Yes, exactly. And there are so cool chargers. In their article that you will also read on the website, it's currently the latest one. You will also see two examples. For example, the two examples from Aukey. I hope I pronounce it correctly. Aukey. One charger which is pretty small but can charge your MacBook Pro easily with 100 watts or other compatible laptops. Or for example, one with two USB-C connectors, which we are using right now, which is really cool because we can charge the gimbal, which is holding the iPhone, and we charge the iPhone at the same time, and both are connected through to USB-C. I think it's let me just see here. I think it's just really important because more and more companies will switch over to USB-C. I'm also just getting rid of all my USB-A cables, and I change all to USB-C at the end. I still have micro USB devices. I still have Lightning devices. But buying new cables, I mean, you spend maybe $40 and you have a whole set of new cables. And the good part is when you're on the go or traveling, you just need one charging device for all your charging. One charger for all your devices. For example, Aukey has a 36 watt adapter, which if you plug in two iPhones, for example, or an iPhone and an iPad at the same time, they both will get 18 watts. So it will also charge your iPhone faster. But you could also connect your iPad Pro or your MacBook, like the old MacBook, only with one USB-C. And it will charge the device with up to 30 watts. I think that's so cool because USB-C allows the charger actually communicates to the other device. The device is making a request to the charger, getting its speeds, and then the charger will output the speed that the phone or device supports. And that's really cool. That's really cool.
Smart components.
I mean, it looks so funny when you have, for example, my Beats headphones. They have a Lightning connector, and I connect them to my 85 watt charger for my MacBook, and I charge my teeny tiny headphones with this big chunk of a charger. But that's the magic of USB-C. It doesn't care if you only need 2.5 watts. Then this big watt charger will give you 2.5 watts.
Yeah.
But it can also give you 87. And that's one of the tips that I was talking about. Another tip I wrote about was about the LAN connection on Nintendo Switch. I don't really know how much what the I don't know how much Nintendo is actually talking about the LAN connection on the Nintendo Switch.
I didn't know. Also for me, I don't have a Nintendo Switch, but for me it was. I was surprised when I didn't see that there was no LAN connection.
Yes.
I mean,
and that's why
how it's called the
dock.
The dock.
Yes.
How can the dock not have the LAN connection?
Because it's not so important for Nintendo. Because every household has Wi-Fi, and I mean the dock, even though it has not Ethernet, it has USB 3. It's a USB-A connector, but it's USB 3, and it allows up to gigabit.
Yeah.
I actually, when I bought my Nintendo Switch, I also bought a LAN adapter from Ugreen. What kind of name is that? Ugreen. And
it's environment.
Yeah, and it allows actually. I don't know if it actually uses the 1 gigabit connection because I don't have it. I only have 100 megabit internet connection.
You should try that at my place.
Yeah, I should try that at your place, and then we could see at your router if it uses more than 100 megabits. That would be an idea. That would be a good idea.
Yeah.
We should definitely test that. So, what it gives is that you have a way better connection. I mean, there is an article of Raspberry Pi, from the Raspberry Pi blog, where they were talking about using the Raspberry Pi as an Ethernet Wi-Fi bridge. Because the Wi-Fi controller itself on the Nintendo Switch, I don't know why, but it's slow. It's slower. If you use just the Wi-Fi of your Nintendo Switch, or a Raspberry Pi connected, how is it connected to the Ethernet? Let me just. Okay, it's Raspberry Pi connected to an Ethernet cable connected to the Switch, like that. A bit complicated.
Yes.
But then you just use the Wi-Fi of the Raspberry Pi, and it's already much faster.
Yeah.
It's still Wi-Fi, but it's faster if you use the Wi-Fi of a Raspberry Pi than the Wi-Fi of the Nintendo Switch itself. But I think this is a bit complicated because you have to set up a Raspberry Pi.
I mean,
you have to set up the whole bridge thing.
Yeah.
And then if you don't have a LAN connection coming to your home entertainment system, then I would propose this Raspberry Pi solution because it's faster. But there is also a comparison where you can see downloading Pokemon Sword. Just over Wi-Fi takes 1 hour and 9 minutes, and using Wi-Fi, the Ethernet connection directly on the Switch, then it takes just 43 minutes. I mean,
that's almost 30 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know if they use the storage of the Nintendo Switch itself here in that test, but that's already 26 minutes faster. And I'm also talking about latency. Of course, when you're playing Mario Kart or anything like that, you have much better latency if you go by a LAN connection. And I could completely recommend that to everyone.
Is there also the speed test with the Raspberry Pi?
Oh yeah, of course, the Raspberry Pi. If you have the Nintendo Switch connected to the Raspberry Pi over Ethernet, and then use the Wi-Fi of the Raspberry Pi, then it's 46 minutes. So it's almost as fast as by LAN.
Yeah.
But it's again much faster than using the Wi-Fi of the Nintendo Switch. It's 23 minutes faster for a 10 gigabyte game.
They should use some crappy.
I don't know why. How could they make it so bad? The Wi-Fi of the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, not a lot of users. I guess not a lot of users play online on Switch, but actually there are some games that are really important for the online. Splatoon, for example.
I mean, Nintendo promoted esports so fat in their trailers back then when the Nintendo Switch released. They showed people going to this stadium and docking their Nintendo Switch and doing esports, but making so crappy Wi-Fi. I mean, that's why they implemented the LAN mode. You can still connect a LAN adapter. But yeah.
I don't know. That's really weird. But yeah, let's say Nintendo was the same company that sold Nintendo 2DS or something like that without the charger.
Yeah.
Because everyone has a charger.
Of course.
Yes, but I don't care. I mean, I want my official charger.
I
That's
feel
so
I feel so sad for all the kids and grown-up people who got that kind of console on Christmas Eve and no charger, and you could only play it for 2 or 3 hours, and it turned off, and you have to wait a few days, because I don't know how it is in some other countries, but in Germany, for example, like the 2 days after Christmas, everything is closed. It's Christmas time, so everything is closed. So where do you get now a charger? And you will be pissed so much.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're a little kid and your parents are not so smart, you will probably use some old phone that doesn't use micro USB or something else. So you could be at home with a new console without a charger.
But it's also a dick move from Nintendo to use some proprietary connector instead of micro USB. Yeah. For example, I mean, even if it's not USB-C, why they could have used micro USB.
That was really
just with the Nintendo Switch. They started to move over to USB-C.
Yes, because actually that console was using the proprietary.
Yes.
Not the
That was making it so worse, because you had no chance.
So or you already had a Nintendo DS, or you were not. We understand what you are. So.
Yeah.
Right. I forgot that. I was quite sure, because the new one used. I don't remember. It's a new Nintendo 3DS using still the proprietary.
Yes, they all use the same.
Okay. I have one, but I forgot about it.
I have the new 3DS XL.
Okay, and it have the new 2DS XL.
I have that proprietary connector to USB.
Okay.
At least, so I can charge it whatever is having USB-A.
But this was really a shitty move.
Yeah. So, and the third tip that I would be talking about now is a bit less techy but more motivational. It's just a tip that I'm using constantly, is to count your daily actions instead of measuring the results too much, or to focus less on results and focus on what you achieved in the day, because it will motivate you way more. And it's so weird, because nowadays, I mean, of course, when you come from a school, you always focus on result. You're always focused on result. No one cared that you wrote the math test. What did you end up? And now when you create a video on YouTube or you create an article, you want to see, okay, how many clicked on it? How good was it? And no one clicked on it, or only a few people, and you get really disappointed, and what am I doing this for? And that's the issue. You shouldn't do it because of the result of how many people click it or watch it. You should do it because you want to do it and you want to create content. Then you count the actions.
Yes.
And this is a whole different perspective.
Because of course, when you start something, for a lot of people, you are not gaining so much
traffic
for the first time. We noticed that also. But for what is important for us is making content, improve ourselves, and try to learn while we do that.
Yes.
So
when you count just your actions and when you do, you always learn something.
If you just watch how many people see something, you get pumped out.
Yeah.
So.
But then, when you only do it for how many people see it, then you will never like it to do it long term.
Yes.
Because you really want or have to want it. And when you see it that way, and when you just see, okay, this week we post, for example, was last week, I think. We posted 6 articles or something like that.
Yep.
And I really didn't care how many clicks we had in Google Analytics or how long did people stayed on it, because I just tried to do the best content that I could create right now. And I know there are always better alternatives, but it's just trying to get better and better and better.
Okay. Yeah.
Because at the beginning you are like and you are better than 1% of all the people doing the same. And after some time, you get better than 10% of the people. Then at some point, you get better than 30% of the people. You climb the rank.
You have to improve yourself and keep doing it. I mean, 1 month, 2 months, it's not enough. A lot of people quit too soon.
Yes.
I mean, you have to try really hard for a long time. Then if you see that you not gain nothing, then you can see and make maybe a decision, because maybe you put a lot of efforts and but
you can also niche down. You can
yes,
also take a look and see.
You don't have to give up. I mean,
yes.
If you really want something, you go on, and you have to change, you have to improve, you have to study the market. So it's important that you count your actions so that you see what you are doing and not what you get back.
Yeah. I got that tip from a podcast called Entrepreneurs on Fire.
Mm-hmm.
I can really recommend it. And Entrepreneurs on Fire. They post like every 1 to 3 days a new podcast about entrepreneurial stuff. And I got that little note from one podcast, and it really shifted my mind, because I'm also result focused, of course. You kind of are used to be like that. And at that point I really started to think I should really just count the actions. What have I done today?
Yeah.
And even if it's just one thing, that's fine. And 0 is also okay. But then you have days where you do 3 things or 5 things, because you improve and you keep improving. That's why we did this whole setup change, because we want to make this streaming a bit leaner, and so it has less impact in our daily lives. And you get better and you get better. And at the beginning you write 1 article and it takes 3 days. And suddenly you improve yourself over 3 weeks, and now you write it in 1 day. And then you boost yourself. And when you just taking a look at your actions and count them, you only get better that way.
So keep on and don't quit.
Yes, don't quit.
And then, I mean, that's actually, I want just to say that then I think for today it's over.
Wow, really? What a yeah. Thank you, Christian, for talking about the tips. Okay, yeah, I think that were okay. I think this is okay for today.
I mean,
there was such a quick end.
No, I mean, we want just to say something then, because it was
we're already 1 hour and 7 minutes.
Yeah, so I mean, it's we're over time, and we're also improving to keep 1 hour line. So we have still to improve in that.
Yeah.
So I wanted just to say.
When now? Bye.
No. A lot of people want to be developers. Okay, if you see how many search on Google's are about how to code in Python, how to code in Java, how to write programs, and so that there is a lot of users. And you don't become a developer after watching a video. For me, an example, I used 1 year of my life just staying at home from afternoon or evening, learning, coding, reading books, and writing, and make shitty apps, but making something. And it's not that you learn in 1 month. It took me 1 year just to be comfortable writing something, and then it took me another year to make good code that looks nice, and another year to learn other technologies, to think more out of the box, to improve my code. So it's something that goes and goes. You have always to improve, and that's the same for other things. Also for us, streaming, creating articles, it's not something that you learn in 1 month or 2 months. It takes practice and time. So yeah,
that's how you stand out of the crowd, when you keep on doing.
Yes.
Okay, so I think we have concluded this topic now accordingly.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you for your feedback there. So our next stream will be tomorrow for the Apple WWDC 2020.
And we will see then for the gaming stream when we could do that.
If we have an hour time slot, we will do it in the week.
Yes.
Else next week.
Yeah, we will see.
The week after the next week. Yeah, as always, join our Telegram group. You will find the link nowhere. We should really do the link. Can we do the link? Put the link on our website.
Yes.
So
sure.
yeah.
So we'll do.
Stay tuned for that. And definitely check out our our website DIGITLZ.com. So many people ask me, how do I write that? I mean, you're watching our stream right now, so you see the word digital somewhere now in the how's it called, description of the video.
Yeah.
So DIGITLZ.com, and also follow us on Twitter. Our handle is just DIGITLZ. And I think, yeah, that concludes today's stream. It was really nice having you, all of you free. And yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you have anything to add?
No. So we will see us tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm really hyped for the
Yeah.
Apple keynote.
And next time we should also close the blinds completely.
Yes, because
I have this the whole time now.
yes. Okay, that's another stuff that we have to write down so that we can improve next time. So each stream will learn something.
Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah. See
thank you for watching.
Yeah, and see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Actually, I have to stand up.
Yeah, it's not so easy right now. So
bye.
ciao.